Hi, this is Julie Harland, and I'm your math gal. Please visit my website at yourmathgal.com, where you could search for any of my videos organized by topic. This is part 3 of survey problems, where we can use Venn diagrams to answer some questions about a survey. So in this video, we'll learn how to create a Venn diagram to store information from a survey so that we can answer other questions about the survey. Here's our first problem. A survey of 100 students was taken to determine how many were gluten-free and how many were lactose intolerant. 28 were gluten-free, 35 were lactose intolerant, and 10 were both gluten-free and lactose intolerant. How many students were neither gluten-free nor lactose intolerant? In other words, they didn't have either of those problems. So we're talking about two different things, gluten-free and lactose intolerant. So let's make a Venn diagram that has two circles in it. One for gluten-free and one for lactose intolerant. How about I call this one the GF for gluten-free and this one lactose intolerant? I'll put LI. You just could label it however you want. The Venn diagram is so that to help you answer the question. All right, so now let's look at the information that was given to us. 28 were gluten-free. All right, well, if we look at gluten-free, we know that there are two regions here. Notice there are two regions. So if 28 were gluten-free, we don't know where to put that exactly. Like I can't just say 28 right here because that's assuming that all 28 were gluten-free, right? And not lactose intolerant, but we don't know that. So we can't fill in how that works. Like in other words, is it 20 and 8? How's it go? We're not sure. 25 were lactose intolerant. 35 were lactose intolerant. Same problem. There are two regions here. The numbers have to add up to 35. So I can't fill anything else in here yet. Okay, let's see if I can get someplace. 10 were both gluten-free and lactose intolerant. Yes. So I'm going to, after I'm able to use that information, I'm going to actually write down I used it. 10. All right, I know where the 10 goes. The 10 is going to go right there. Okay. Now we can go back up and see if we could fill in something else. 28 were gluten-free. Well, now I know that these two regions where the gluten-free is together must add up to 28. All right, so if 10 of the people are in this part, how many have to be over in this part over here? Well, 28 total, 28 minus 10, this has got to be 18. I've now used that piece of information. Okay, let's keep going. Can I do anything with this 35 or lactose intolerant? Okay, remember, this is the circle with two regions for the people that are lactose intolerant. And so these two regions together, the numbers have to add up to 35. All right, well, so I've got 10 in here, so what goes over here? These together have to add up to 35. So there must be 25 over here. So these are the people that are only lactose intolerant, right? But 10 plus 35 is all of the people that are lactose intolerant, including these 10 that are both gluten-free and lactose intolerant. Most common mistake is for people to put 35 right over here where I have written 25 or 28 over here where I put gluten-free. So we've used this piece of information. Now, is there anything else given here? If you read the question again. A survey of 100 students. So altogether, notice there are 4 regions here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I haven't said what's out here. Altogether, these numbers have to add up. All 4 numbers have to add up to 100. So let's see what it adds up to so far. I've got 18, 10, and 25. So far I've got 18, 10, and 25. So that's 53 so far. And so 53 plus what will give me 100? Well, you could just do 100 minus 53 if you don't know how to do it a different way. So there must be 47 people who are neither gluten-free or lactose intolerant. So here's a this is a group of people where a lot of people have digestive problems, basically. So now we've got a picture, right, of our Venn diagram. And now we can answer this question. How many students were neither gluten-free nor lactose intolerant? What are we talking about? That's the people out here on the outside. That's what we want. We're looking for that number of 47. So the answer to this problem is 47. Kind of tricky. So this is with just two, right? Two kinds of things going on. So we're going to do another with two things going on, and then we'll make a separate video. What if there's three things going on? It does get more complicated, but just slowly work through it, and you shouldn't have too much trouble. Read carefully. Sometimes you just can't fill in the number and you have to go back to it later. So what I do is I like to either circle it or something so I know once I've used that piece of information, I'm looking for some other piece of information to add another, number somewhere in this Venn diagram. So here's our next problem. In a group of women, 25 had red hair, 25 had green eyes but not red hair, 13 had red hair but not green eyes, and 63 did not have green eyes. How many women were in the group? First thing, you can't just add 25, 25, 13, and 63. Okay, so when you see all the numbers, you just can't add them all up. For instance, if I said that 100 people said they had cats, 100 people had dogs in some survey, you can't assume there's 200 people because maybe that's the same 100 people. Maybe there are people that have both cats and dogs, so be careful. So see if you could make a Venn diagram. Now there's really two things we're talking about here, right? Green eyes and red hair. So the key is to draw a Venn diagram. How about I do G for green eyes and R for red hair. So see if you could go ahead and fill in the numbers and figure out the answer on your own first. Okay, let's see. In a group of women, let's see what we could fill in. 25 had red hair. Okay, so if we look at the circle, the set of people with red hair, there's two regions here. So I can't use that information yet. I can't fill in that 25 because does it go 10 and 15? How's it go? Is it all 25 over here? None of them had green eyes? We don't know. So you can't use that. 25 had green eyes but not red hair. Okay, now what region would that be? They've got green eyes, so they're in the green circle here, but they don't have red hair, so they can't be over in this intersection. So that can be filled in right now. 25 had green eyes but not red hair. That would be this region over here. These are the people that only had green eyes, right? But they're not in the circle where they also had red hair. Next one. 13 had red hair but not green eyes. Okay, so where's that? Can we fill that in? Well, here are all the people that had red hair, right? This whole part here. And if you had red hair but not green eyes, you're only in this little region over here. So I could do that as well. That's only in that little piece right here. Let's see, we could either go back up and see if we could fill in this 20, till this 25 splits up now, or we could keep on going to see if we could go to the 63, right? Doesn't matter. Let's see, I'm not sure which one I have to do first, or maybe it doesn't matter. So let's just keep going. 63 did not have green eyes. Okay, so here, this circle for the G are all the women that had green eyes. So I know outside of that circle has to add up to 63. And what's outside of this circle is this region plus that region. So together, the people out here, right, that don't have either green eyes or red hair, plus the 13 have to add up to 63. So if this is 13, what is this going to be over here? 50 in order to add up to 63. So I was able to use that piece of information. Now let's go back up through to the beginning to see if there's another piece of information we haven't used yet. 25 had red hair. Okay, so now we can go back up to the red hair. And here's the whole circle, R for red hair. So together these two pieces here have to add up to 25. And if this is 13, what's going to be in here? 12 to add up. Now I've filled in all four pieces, right? All four regions in this Venn diagram. So I can answer how many women are in the group by adding those four numbers. So what happens when we add those four numbers? We have 50, 25, 12, and 13. I got 100. So there are 100 people in the group. Now I could have asked a different question. I could have said, let's see, how many have green eyes? Let's ask that question. Can you look at the picture and figure that out? How many women had green eyes? Okay, well, we would look in this circle for G, and we've got 25 plus 12, right, together. So the answer to that one would have been 37. So a number of questions could be asked. I just happened to ask how many women were in the group. I'm going to do another problem on, if you want to look at some more examples, on the next video. In fact, on the next Venn diagram, we're going to do a problem where we're going to have to draw 3 sets. So it gets a lot more complicated when you're not just talking about 2 things, but 3 different things. Please visit my website at yourmathgal.com, where you can view all of my videos, which are organized by topic.